maybe there's a bug in the system. So, hey YouTube, what's up? This is Smitty. If you take supplement, did you know that your results may vary depending on the brand of supplement you take? I once took a supplement on recommendation from a doctor, and like I had this really terrible feeling in the back of my neck, and my skin was bleeding, right? And it turns out that, I went to the doctor, and the doctor told me, try a different brand. I tried a different brand. I didn't have it as severe of an effect. He let me choose what brand I take, right? He didn't tell me which brand to take, and I took another brand. It wasn't that severe, but it was similar to where my skin felt like it was on the verge of being of bleeding, or being raw, right? So it was CoQ10, which is a coenzyme Q10, right? And I realized that some enzymes may be anti-inflammatory or pro-inflammatory depending on the context. And then yesterday I realized that there's in medical speak, there's a therapeutic dose for something, to whereas if you have too little of a supplement or a substance, it may be ineffective. And if you have too much of it, it may be ineffective. And there's typically going to be a sweet spot where it is most effective for certain things, right? And I found this all out through research. And I'm not, I didn't start the channel to be a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a biologist, a chemist, but I do realize how important it is for you to be able to articulate your health to your doctor, and how you can pick your doctor's brain to help him help you better, right? Hi, my name is Greg. If you don't know, I'm a triathlete. I was hit by a car while cycling, and I lost feeling on the left side of my body. And over years, I figured out all these different tricks and tips and strategies and tactics to get myself to the point where I don't have to walk with a cane any longer. And I have feeling on both sides of my body. And, at the peak of my training, I was riding 300 miles a week, and I was running about 30 miles a week. And I'm still uncovering all the stuff that I did to help me ride faster, to figure out why certain things work a certain way, why my performance was a certain level. And I'm trying to match that up with my recovery from the injury to see how it correlates, right? So basically, one of the things that correlates really well is eating cereal. So cereal tends to have a lot of B vitamins that's fortified within it. B vitamins, if you didn't know, are coenzymes. All eight B vitamins are coenzymes that help you metabolize protein, fats, and carbs, and helps you utilize those more efficiently, and it helps you burn those more efficiently. So the more efficiently you burn protein, fats, and carbs, the more significant your performance is, or your recovery, for example, or anything like that has to do with health and using foods for energy. So I came across this study about methylcobalamin, right? And so I wanted to understand which form of vitamin B12. Methylcobalamin is a form of B12. And so I asked my friendly chat GTP-enabled app, Koala AI, and I ran into some questions that probably are related to OpenAI. Maybe there's a bug in the system. So my question was, why might methylcobalamin stay in the blood longer than other forms of vitamin B12? Cite relevant sources in MLA format, as I always do. And then response was different than typical responses. The response was, I'm unable to provide sources in MLA format, but I can tell you that methylcobalamin may stay in the body longer than other forms of vitamin B12 due to its higher retention and utilization in the body. According to research published in the journal Clinical Medicine, methylcobalamin has been shown to have higher bioavailability and longer retention in the body compared to other forms of vitamin B12, such as cyanocobalamin. This may be attributed to the fact that methylcobalamin does not require conversion in the body and can be readily utilized for various physiological functions, leading to its prolonged presence in the system, right? And then it didn't even cite it in MLA format. Maybe I spelled it wrong, but it knew what I was talking about, right? So I'm going to go on. And so the next step I did was I asked Bard. I used Google Bard, and so I wanted to know the same answer. And This is my first time using Google Bard for any type of research. I'm not sure what to expect, and I was very pleased with what I saw. This is what it says. So why might methylcobalamin stay in the body longer than other forms of B12? Cite relevant sources in the format. And then in green, those are things that is summarized, things that it found. And then I guess in the orange looking thing is where it's synthesizing some of it, what it's learned into statements, right? So basically, there's like three particular aspects it looks at and difference, several factors, but the three main factors is transport and storage, cellular uptake, and metabolic stability. There you go, right? And there are the sources right there. I'll show you the sources. Let's see, where are the sources? Right here, right? In summary, the longer retention of methylcobalamin is likely due to its efficient transport, cellular uptake, and metabolic stability. These factors contribute to increased bioavailability and prolonged presence in the body. In that first study right there, in 2005, is by Banerjee R. et al. Methylcobalamin versus cyanocobalamin. Which form B12 is better, right? And so I tried to look for that actual article, and I could not find it. I asked Google Bard, are there any online links to the following study? And they really didn't find it. If you follow that link, you're not going to see exactly that article, right? Different article. And, and then I said, who are the other authors among that et al. List for the following study, right? And the other authors are David and Brady and saying who. And then that link, I don't think it's the same one. It's not the same. It's not referring to that same article. Then I go down this rabbit hole and I find an article that's similar to that, and it's by David and Brady, right? But it doesn't have that original article. It doesn't have that original author, Banerjee R, right? So this is comparative bioavailability and utilization of particular forms of B12 supplements with potential to mitigate B12-related genetic polymorphism, right? Three natural forms of B12 are commercially available: methylcobalamin, adenosylcobalamin, and hydroxycobalamin, all of which have been shown in clinical studies to improve B12 status. They are bioidentical to the B12 forms occurring in human physiology and animal food. In contrast, cyanocobalamin is a synthetic B12 compound used for food fortification and in some supplements, occurs only in trace amounts in human tissues as a result of cyanide intake from smoking or other sources. What? Occurs in trace amounts. So you get B12 that's in trace amounts in human tissues as a result of cyanide intake from smoking. You can smoke and take anyway. So I go on and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this thing, and I find another study right here. Studies called the absorption of cyanocobalamin, coenzyme B12, methylcobalamin, and hydroxycobalamin in different dose levels, right? So one says hydroxo, and the other one says hydroxy. So if you're looking at this study right here, so we're looking at oral dosages, 1 microgram, 5 micrograms, and 25 micrograms. And it says here that the mean values are listed here in parentheses, and standard deviations of percentages of dosages retained by each group of patients at each dose level. Mean values and in parentheses the standard deviation. So if you look at it here, the standard deviations are the lowest at the 25 microgram level. And it looks like maybe, I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but maybe those where standard deviations are the smallest are where it's the sweet spot, the effective dosage rate for B12. And across the board, all of them are pretty persistent at 25 micrograms, right? And so it depends on who you are at that 1 microgram level, depending on who you are and your status, what your status is. And there's a lot of factors that probably play a part in how you retain a lot of this stuff, which is very interesting. And so this next research I want to show you is that I looked for that person, Banerjee R. In my best estimation, this is who the person is. And that first study was from 2005, if you remember. And I looked at all the studies that this person did in 2005, and I didn't see that study there in any of these, right? But there were some really interesting studies on homocysteine and redox signaling. Homocysteine, if you know, B vitamins play a role in homocysteine. And the only B12 that I see that could be close is B12 or responsive internal ribosome entry site element in human methionine synthase, right? That might be one, or there's a lot of things in here. and I would have to read each one of these things to figure out which one. Yeah, I couldn't find any for studies. Maybe just because I couldn't find it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because it could have quoted it. It could have quoted it in the Koala AI, but in it may have access to it that I don't have access to, and that's how I was going to get that answer. It's really perplexing, right? It's really perplexing. And so, I'm going to, from here on out, I'm going to be using Bard AI, and I'm going to be using Google AI, Bard, to back up some of my research. And I'm going to do more extensive research to make sure that I find articles, like actual articles that I can see online that represent my resources that I found and everything that I researched. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you learned a little bit about vitamin B12 and about effective dosages. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not trying to prescribe a condition, or I'm not trying to suggest that you do anything, but I would encourage you to learn about science so you can communicate with your doctor. Pick your doctor's brains, because healthcare costs enough, right? Pick your doctor's brain, help your doctor help you better. I'm Smitty. If you want help with your fitness goals or reaching your fitness goals, reaching your wellness goals, seek a fitness, performance, or wellness professional. If you want help from me, these resources in this video on this YouTube channel and at iHeartGames.com. I'm Smitty. I hope you reach your fitness goals. I'll talk to you again.